for so long I wanted to feel better, but I didn't actually want to do the work to feel better because I wanted to avoid talking about certain things. And like once I did that, I was like, okay, life is so much better. But getting to that point, I think I needed that time to be like, okay, I'm at my breaking point of where I need to actually talk about stuff.
Jazz, welcome to She's So
Oh my
Lucky.
God, thank you. I'm excited.
I'm excited to have you.
I've been following you for a while. I feel like it's been like
Have
a
you
minute.
really?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my,
think so.
wait, that
Like at
makes me
least a
so
year,
flattered.
which like feels like forever to
It
me.
does. Yeah, for sure.
Like content time, you get to know a lot.
It is. No,
Yeah.
a year is a long time. I mean, I've been following you for a long time too. I think probably still in COVID, like when you would like stand on the coffee
Oh my
table
gosh,
and like,
that's a fever dream to me. Like that time period of my life, I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, feels like a lifetime ago. Like how much has changed in a short period of time.
yeah. But I think the beautiful part of having that documented is you're able to look back at that version of
It's my favorite
yourself.
favorite thing. Like
Yeah.
even when someone like likes a video of mine that's like older and I click on it and like I watch it back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm cringing so hard. But also like, I'm like, oh, that's amazing that I'm like way more comfortable in front of a camera now.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like I
It's
wasn't.
growth and
But I thought I was
maturity.
at the time.
Yeah, yeah. And then I also feel like it helps you have all this compassion for your younger self.
Yes, yes. That's like healing a part of me every single
Exactly.
time.
Yeah. So I would love to start off by hearing about a time when you felt really lucky. And this could be a moment where you felt like things either came together in alignment or you created the luck for yourself.
Um, a couple things. Getting laid off from my job. Like I got laid off peak COVID and I was in love with my job. Like I was working so much overtime. Like if anyone needed me to cover, like I'm working. I worked in like real estate doing like property negotiation and I loved it. And I got laid off and I was devastated. I was like, what do you mean? Like I was like the highest ranked person on my team. Like it did not make sense to me. And I was like, life is literally over. Like my entire identity at the time like was my job. And it took me a little bit of time, but after a while, like, I ended up moving to New York because I got laid off. I ended up like meeting my husband because I got laid off. I ended up like having social media as a career because I got laid off. And like once things started falling into place, I was like, thank goodness, because I never would have left that job. Like you would have had to drag me out of there, and I kind of did have to, but I never would have left. And like my life turned out like so much better, like either career wise, like mentally, emotionally, because that happened.
Okay, I love that example. And I asked that question of all the guests I have for the past couple of months
Yeah.
now. And I think you are the first person who has given an example of something that's been a catalyst or
Yeah.
one of those like rejection is redirection moments where this thing first happens and it feels probably devastating,
Yeah.
but actually ends up being really great.
Yeah, I think I've always said like everything happens for a reason, but it takes time for those reasons to show up. And in those time periods when you're waiting for that reason, it's like the worst thing ever. There's like nothing to look forward to. But like once you finally have that understanding, once it finally gets there, you're like, okay, I get it now. And like having that moment of appreciation is like huge.
Yep. Like it all worked out how it's
Yes.
supposed to.
Which you never could have understood when it was all happening. But I have that outlook for like everything now because I've had such a big difference because of that one thing that felt like the actual end of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes still feel like work is something that you identify so heavily with, even though
Yes.
your job is obviously very different now?
I think it's the same thing, but in a different way because before where my identity was like in numbers and like having good numbers. And now it's like, I wouldn't say it's super analytic wise, but it's as there's so many parts to it. It's like staying authentic, like being true to myself, like connecting with people, like building relationships and like having good content and like people like not like liking me, but like liking me for like the actual version of me that I'm putting online, which obviously is like as authentic as I can be, but not just like liking an idea of me. I'm like trying to figure out it's a messy game to play with yourself because like your my like identity and brand and like my income all comes from like me as a person. It's like finding that person and constantly having the growth and understanding and be like, yes, this is who I want to be perceived as. This is who I actually am at my core and not what I'm pretending to be.
Right.
Which
Because it's
is
you, it's not a
yeah.
character.
But it's like messy, like when you're like your worth and things get tied into your entire brand as a whole.
For sure. For sure. I think that's something that is so tricky about content because so much of it, for many creators, it is your life. And then separating, okay, if something does well, how do I not let this
Yes.
inflate me too much? But if it
And even
doesn't do
subconsciously.
well, yeah, how do I not take this personally? Because we are all out here being ourselves in one way or another. How do you handle that?
I'd handle it much better now. I would say at the beginning it was very difficult for me because I was so focused on like, oh, you misunderstood me. I can help you understand. I can further explain it because why would you not like me based off like there has to be miscommunication somewhere. And I recently have gotten to the point of it's okay that not everyone likes me, and it would be a problem if they did. Like it's a good thing this way, and I'm not gonna please everyone, and I shouldn't. And if I, at the end of the day, I'm like happy with who I have around me and who I am like, at my core day to day, like everything else doesn't really matter. And you can hear that a million times, but until it actually clicks for you, it doesn't actually matter.
Until you're like,
And it recently, I would say like in the last like 6 months, it actually clicked. And prior to that, I said it all the time, but it didn't actually like, I didn't like take it in fully.
no, I relate to that so much and have been in such a similar space where I'm beginning to become okay with the idea of people not understanding me or not resonating with what I'm saying. And it's not even that I felt like I was a big people pleaser. I want everybody to like me, but it's just this wanting to be agreeable all
Yeah.
the time that we literally can't be.
Yeah. I'm very sensitive. I take things very personally. And I've like just got to the point where I'm like, I don't like everyone. And it not because like anything's wrong with a ton of people, but just because like they're not my we don't align, which is okay. And like it would be a problem. People like we're all aligning with me. So it's like I don't like everybody, but nothing against them. And like
Exactly.
it's not personal if someone doesn't vibe with me or doesn't want to watch me. Like that's okay.
Yeah. It's and learning that not not disliking something, but not needing to be super close to something or
Hmm.
be accepted by everybody also doesn't mean like hate it,
Yes.
beef.
Hmm.
Like I
There's so many parts to the spectrum. There's not one side or the other.
yeah,
And like having that understanding like makes all the difference.
exactly. Which is hard because I feel like nuance is dying
Yeah.
in this day and age.
Yeah.
People have a hard time understanding it.
Yeah, and people have a hard time having their own opinions.
Yeah.
Like someone can love someone and someone can point out things that they never noticed and then they're going to be bothered by those things. But it's like are you actually bothered? Do you think you subconsciously are you supposed to be bothered? Like who knows? So like I think just like being very trusting in like your own opinions from the start and not questioning where those are without like actual things that are changing your mind.
Yeah, exactly. I want to come back to something that you just shared because you mentioned being sensitive. I've also heard you
Yeah.
talk about that on your podcast as well. Sensitive, like feelings
Mhm.
sensitive, as you mentioned it. I'm curious if having such a public job has helped you like thicken your skin, or how do you navigate being a sensitive person also with so much noise and
A
opinions?
lot of therapy.
Yeah.
I was in therapy prior to being in social media, but I would say, like, the topics were more, like, my upbringing and, like, my how that affects my day to day and, like, why I do what I do, and I think as I got on social media, it was, like, why am I being affected so much by these comments? Like, is it what's this, like, stemming from? And I think, like, a lot of unpacking things, like, from, like, whether it was, like, earlier life, like, growing up, high school, whatever it is, made me realize, like, oh, like, these are, like, deeper issues that are coming about, and I think, like, once I actually dealt with them instead of avoiding the things that I'd been avoiding for a while, probably talking about, it probably actually, like, did me a favor because I was forced to deal with things that I probably wouldn't have otherwise because I was being so dramatically affected by all the things being said to me. Because like, I read every comment,
Yeah.
and, like, now I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Like, before it was like it would ruin my day. Like, not just my day, but my week.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, like, with time and, like, talking about it and, like, realizing, like, why I'm actually so affected by something.
Yeah. Getting to the root of it, it
Yeah,
sounds
makes
like.
all the difference.
Yeah, for sure. Are you like a talk therapy girl? Do you like other types of therapy when
I did
it helpful?
EMDR when I first started therapy, which
Mhm.
I was a big fan of, but then, I started doing remote therapy, like, during COVID and stuff, and so I haven't really done it since, but talking, yes, but also I think for so long I did therapy and, like, I would talk, but I would, like, think of something in my head that would be prompted by something else, and I would completely push it away and avoid it. And then I got to a point where I was like, "Okay, we're having the same conversations, like, I have to bring up other things."
Yeah.
And, like, once I did that and, like, I actually was at the point where I was like, "I want to feel better."
Mhm.
Like, I for so long, I wanted to feel better, but I didn't actually want to do the work to feel better because I wanted to avoid talking about certain things, and, like, once I did that, I was like, "Okay, like, life is so much better," but getting to that point, I think I needed that time to be like, "Okay, I'm at my breaking point of where, like, I need to actually talk about stuff."
Yeah. Oh, it's so I feel like for anybody who's been to therapy, the omitting things from the
Yes.
therapist is something we've all
Yes.
done.
Yeah. And you think, and I used to think like, oh, like I'll talk to her about anything. So like, it's no big deal. Like I'm not really hyped. No, there still were things. Like there always is, but I didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah, for sure. I still struggle with that, or sometimes I'm like, "Ooh, I need to bring this up again, like, wasn't I
Yeah.
supposed to be over this?"
Yes.
And releasing that judgment's important.
Yeah. You should be so like kind to yourself and like even like your previous self because that goes hand in hand with how you're handling yourself currently. You
Exactly,
don't realize how big of an effect like old things, like if they're still coming up, they're coming up for a reason.
exactly, and that there's more to work
Yes.
through.
Like you thought you were done, but you're not.
You're not. Yeah,
There's a lot more left.
exactly.
But that's like the beauty of like growing up is like choosing to deal with it instead of avoiding it.
It's so annoying, but it's so true because it's like part of being human is having feelings,
Yeah.
even if you like to avoid them like I do.
Yeah. I was the same way. I was very, very, very avoidant.
Yeah,
But like the older I get, the more I'm like, what kind of person do I want to be?
exactly.
Like I don't want to be putting my stuff onto anyone else. And like I have to be okay like with myself. And like
Yeah,
that takes work within me and not around other people.
for sure, and it's like even when we avoid those things, we're still carrying them, so
Yeah.
even
It
if we're
shows up in
not
a different
it
way. It's
does.
not the same way.
It's always there in some way.
Mhm.
Yeah. So at the time that we're recording this, it's summer. We're over halfway through the year. I think when this episode comes out, it'll be like late summer, early fall. So not that far away. But you've had like a really big year. You've done a
Such a
lot this
year.
year.
Oh my gosh.
You got married,
I
which is so
did. Yes.
exciting.
Thank you. I
Congratulations.
appreciate it.
And like low key kind of broke the internet for a second there.
It was a great day. I will say that was actually hard though, is like going to like that peak. Like I'm like, it's I can't get back to this peak and I can't be focused on getting back to this peak just because like it's just a relevant topic.
Mhm.
Like not my day-to-day life is not going to be as relevant as this one event, this one singular time.
Yeah, this like culmination of a
Yes,
really beautiful day.
exactly. Which it was a fantastic day.
Yeah.
Everything went perfectly. I have zero regrets. Like it was a perfect day in my eyes. But like not even like the content and things that came from it, just like it was everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah, which is the like that's the dream.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
But I also didn't have that many expectations. Like, I wasn't like I wasn't someone who dreamed of my wedding from
Yeah.
like since I was a little girl. Like I actually didn't want one, and then like times where I did want one, I kind of dreaded it. But I think because like I removed all the things that would have gave me anxiety or like triggered me throughout the day, I was like, nothing can go wrong,
Yeah.
and so like it couldn't have.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
What I appreciated about your wedding and the pieces that you shared kind of leading up to it and after is it sounds like you really made it what you wanted and
Yes.
made it, what was going to be special for you and for Kevin instead of doing things just because they're tradition or doing things just because everybody does it. And it sounds like, that's a lot of what you're describing of like
Yeah.
eliminating those things that you wouldn't enjoy or that would stress you out so you could really enjoy it.
Yeah. I think it comes from therapy. Like I know myself so well. Like I know things that would make it like positive or negative throughout the day. And it was just like being very intentional and also communicating with Kevin, like these are things that like would be an issue for me. For example, like he danced with his mom, like which is so fun. Like I love that for him. Like I didn't want to have a first dance because like that just also reminds me that I'm not in a good spot like with my dad. Like so I was like eliminating that as a whole for me made my day good. And like I felt like I had zero pressure from him to like do certain traditional things.
Hmm.
But like I was like, you can dance with your mom, but I'm not gonna watch because like it will trigger something in me. So I talked to my maid of honor the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, but she was okay with that.
Yeah.
But like it takes also like an understanding partner to like be willing to not do things that are traditional or like not be like it's not about you fully, because like it's a 50-50 thing.
For
But
sure.
understanding that.
And getting to create moments that feel special for you. Like
Mhm.
probably having that time with your friend was so nice
Yes.
because in most weddings, people actually don't get to talk to their friends at
Yeah.
all.
And I was like getting to like recap like what's happened so far and talk about like our favorite parts. Like that was a super fun moment for me throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I got to walk down with him as well, which was like took away all my anxiety. And like that was like a fun special thing that me and him got to have like of our own time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And so how has married life been since then?
It's been great, but it's honestly been the same as before we were married.
Mhm.
I think because like we already lived together, like we already had like done all the holidays together, like with each other's families, already had like dogs together. Like there wasn't a lot to change at that point in time because we already like, were kind of like splitting finances and stuff. Nothing was really going to change after marriage. I just love being able to say husband instead of fiance. I hate the word fiance.
I've heard a lot of people say that. Why do you think that is?
I don't. To me, it just sounds pretentious.
Mm.
It sounds like pick me. I don't know what it. Maybe it's like an internal thing for me, but I don't like it. I said mostly boyfriend the entire time, or then I guess switched to husband. But fiance just sounded like asking about my wedding,
Mhm.
which wasn't for me.
Yeah,
And also I hated talking about it leading up to it because like I was like, that's not my identity. Like my
for
identity isn't
sure.
like my life is good now because like I found someone, like I'm getting married and like I'm having a marriage. Like that was which I felt like most conversations steered that way.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
didn't want to like support that narrative.
No, for sure. I think that was also why a lot of what you shared surrounding your wedding was so refreshing because it was like you let us in on this special moment, but at no point did it feel like it was your whole identity or personality.
Yeah.
And I think that made it more fun to watch.
Yeah. It was just like we're just having a party with our friends.
Yeah,
Like and like we're celebrating like how like we have such good relationships with different people in like our lives, including each other, which was like a better way to look at it for me, myself personally.
for sure. For sure. And I know a big topic of discussion after your wedding was around the content and was around like the organization of your
Hmm.
content that was shared during that day. And you had shared this post where you gave everybody a glimpse into your spreadsheet of how,
I'm
uh,
so type A.
yeah, of how your team did that. Okay, so let's talk more about this. I want to talk about one, you being type A,
Hmm.
and how that manifests for you and how that's helped you. And then I would also love to talk more about the business side of being a creator because I think people who aren't in the creator space, from the outside looking in, it just looks like you just kind of do stuff all the time
Yeah.
and you just share about it and things magically happen. And there actually is so much organization and strategy behind the scenes that people don't see.
Yeah.
So, first, let's start with you being type A and if you've always been type A and how that manifests for you.
I think I always have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I thrive on having control. I think that just like stems from like me not having control, like with who was in my life and I was growing up around and all those kinds of things. So anything that I could control, I always have. And that's turned into, I was like me, my corporate jobs, and like now obviously with this. But I also know like when I don't have control or when things like don't go how I planned them, it stresses me out. So like whatever I can do to eliminate that, I will always do, which is where the spreadsheet came from. I was like, I don't want to like miss things that are important to me, but if it's all planned out, I can do it in 2 seconds. It doesn't take away from me being present and being there with people like that I love and care about. Because I also hate like when I first started, I would like go home for holidays and I'd be like working like on my phone and recording everything. And my grandpa's like, "What are you doing?" And, like, he doesn't understand it, 1, but also 2, like, I don't ever want anyone to feel like I'm taking away from something. So I try to, like, be very aware of that so I can, like, limit things. And the best way to limit it was doing a spreadsheet. So, like, for probably the 6 months prior to the wedding, I was, like, saving videos, like, that I thought, like, were fun or I wanted to do at a certain moment in time just so I could, like, lay out, like, what I needed throughout the day. And, like, my assistant, she's amazing. I couldn't have done that without her because she was like, "Oh, hey, like, you're doing this right now and it's I already knew what the sound was and I'd record it and then it was done and she'd save it on my phone and we call it a day. So probably like 20, 30 minutes of my day was spent recording things, but only because there was like probably 8 hours of planning prior to that.
Hmm.
But it worked out great. I loved it.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
And I loved also what you said about having the help because I think
Yes.
that when you know what you want and when you have a plan in place, it's also easier to delegate.
Oh, 100%. I didn't used to be very good at delegating. I really wasn't, but I just realized I needed other type A people that like understood the way my brain worked in
Yeah.
order to be feel comfortable enough to delegate. Throughout it. But also, like, a big part of it, like, of why I did it is, like, I got to have my dream wedding, which I didn't even know I had a dream wedding until, like, I got into planning. Because, like, I've had this job for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years that I was able to, like, save so much money in order to do it and not have to question if it was, like, worth it or not. So I was like, I wanna share as much as possible, and that was the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. Bring your community in
Yeah. I was
for
like,
it.
I got so many DMs, like, leading up to the wedding, and people asking to come, and I'm like, absolutely not, like, I love you
Yeah.
guys so much,
That's
but that's just too far,
that
like,
is a very
I'm
bold
not even
ask.
inviting some people I actually know, like, in
Yeah.
real life. It's like, no, but it's like the next best thing that makes me feel like at a distance was sharing throughout the day. And it also made it way more fun for me too, because like, I didn't want to stress about like, "Oh, someone posted my dress and I haven't posted it yet," because like, I did have a lot of influencers that were there that do have followings that, like, overlap with mine. And I was like, if I'm just going throughout my day beforehand, like, it just eliminated that entire section of like, "Ugh, don't share me before I share."
Yeah. Yeah. Because you already had a plan.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to go back to people DMing you asking if they
Oh,
can come.
yeah.
That is incredibly bold.
Yeah, but I think I understand to a certain extent, I do understand it. I think because, like, with my content, there is nothing that I don't share. Like, I genuinely am an open book. I don't really have any boundaries, which for me, like, makes it more fun. It's not for everyone. I don't recommend it, necessarily. Like, that's just the way that it ended up unfolding for me. I've built up a little bit of boundaries here and there, like, as time has gone on, but like, I get why it is parasocial because you do on one side, you do know everything about me. Like, I don't know anything about you, but, like, you don't think you know, you actually do know, like, everything. So I get why you would feel like, "I wanna go to her wedding." Like, I've been there from the beginning, like, you have. Like, I do get it. But, obviously a hard no for me, but
Yeah.
I also I understand the ask, like, to a certain extent.
That is so nice of you.
I think it's like I had, like, empathy and understanding of, like, how you
Yeah.
got there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, also, like, when I did first start, like, I would people if you DM'd me, like, I knew people's life stories. Like, when I only had 10,000 followers, I would have the time to go through my DMs, and we get to know each other, and, like, I was also, like, very lonely during COVID. I didn't have any friends. Like, I was locked away basically and, like, working my job. I was connecting with the internet, and, like, I felt an alternative, like, parasocial relationship as well. Like, I built that, like, through the community, and, like, that's why I have the life that I have now.
Yeah.
So, like, I have understanding, but, like, not enough to, like, be like, "Yes, come on."
Yeah. Not enough to like
Yeah.
extend the invite. This episode is sponsored by Cotton. Now more than ever, I have been prioritizing wearing items made from natural fibers as much as possible. And cotton is that fabric that I come back to again and again because it feels good, it wears well, and is so versatile. Especially now that the weather's warming up, I reach for cotton more than ever. Light, breathable tops, flowy cotton dresses, the softest sleepwear. I love knowing that what I'm putting on my body is gentle and not trapping heat or irritation, and that it won't bother my skin. It really does make a difference when you're wearing something all day and you want to feel comfortable and put together. Whether I'm wearing denim or a simple tee, cotton-based fabrics are a staple in most of my outfits. And as someone who's on the go a lot, I appreciate that cotton is also super durable. It doesn't fall apart in the wash, it keeps its shape, and it's just not the kind of fabric that you have to fuss over. It's really easy to take care of, and that matters to me because I want my clothes and my linens to work with my lifestyle and not be another thing that I have to worry about. Cotton is the fabric of our lives. So next time you're shopping for clothes, bedding, or home goods, check the tag and choose cotton. You can learn more at thefabricofourlives.com. Again, learn more at thefabricofourlives.com to learn more about cotton. You know those outfits that look so good in your head until you put them on and realize you have no bra that works with it? Strapless doesn't cut it. Sticky bras just play in your face. And those foam pads that come in sports bras? Absolutely not. So let me put you on to something that actually works. Sticky cakes. These little lifesavers are comfortable, seamless, adhesive nipple covers that can be worn with every outfit. I've been wearing them under tanks, tees, dresses, and they've stayed in place through heat, humidity, sweat, and a whole lot of moving around. They have been a lifesaver for me. What I love is they're actually made for comfort. I forget I'm wearing them, but still feel covered. I also love that they're seamless and come in all of these different shapes and sizes so you can find the right fit for you. And my favorite part is they also have this adhesive free, non sticky center called the Nip Nook to protect the sensitive nipple area, which means they don't feel like you're peeling off a sticker at the end of the day, which, if you know, you know. Also, I love a brand with a good why. Cakes is on a mission to provide boob solutions for all women that make them feel flattered and free while supporting women's health causes. To check out the product for yourself, go to cakesbody.com and you can use the code LUCKY for 20% off your first order this fall. That's cakesbody.com using the code LUCKY for 20% off. I want to talk to the business side of things and being a creator. I'm curious if there have been any skills or things that were transferable from your previous career in real estate that you apply to your creator business now.
Yeah, I used to do property negotiation. So, like, when I got into, like, creating, a big part of, like, me handling my own stuff was negotiating. Like, that's what I did all day long. So I think understanding, like, the worth behind something, and also just, like, being analytics wise, like, paying attention to, like, what else is going on in the marketplace. I did real estate, so, like, I'm always checking the market. Like, I do the same thing, like, with other creators. Like, that's what I did when I started, and I continue to, but not as much anymore because, like, I have a team now. But I was, like, very aware of, like, comparing things and seeing what else was going on
Mm.
when getting started. So I'm like, "Oh, they're working with this brand. I could probably work with this brand. Well, what's the other content look like? Why did they get picked for this?" That kinda thing. So it's, like, been very helpful to be very analytical
Yeah.
throughout stuff.
Yeah, that's super helpful because I think for a lot of people who may have entrepreneurial aspirations, they may feel like, okay, I'm in this job. I want to do something entrepreneurial, whether that's being a creator or some other business. And sometimes it can be hard to see what's transferable, but there's actually so much
So
that's
much.
transferable.
Mhm.
And having worked in corporate for a really long time, also before I became a full time creator, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I had that
Yeah.
experience because I got to learn all of these skills. I got to learn how to manage a team. And
Even just building relationships and,
yeah,
like, knowing how important, like, one interaction is. I think going to, like, events and stuff, like, I recognize how everyone's paying attention and people talk. And, like, I think that made me show up differently, um, in every single setting because I had gone to, like, so many corporate events and had so many, like, different connections and relationships built through things I wouldn't have expected to build something from, that I'm just, like, more aware of things and paying attention to my surroundings.
for sure. It's like that professional maturity piece.
Mhm.
And even if you are an entrepreneur, have your own business, are a creator, whatever, you're still interfacing with people who are corporate
Yeah.
all of the time.
Yeah.
So being able to speak their language, because those are often the decision makers for a lot
Yes.
of the things we do.
And recognizing who is too, you can tell, like, pretty quickly, like, when you walk into a room, like, what that looks like.
Exactly. It's super, super important.
Yeah.
Has there been any other things related to business that you feel like you've really learned or skills that you've really honed in since being a creator?
I think also just being on time and being timely. I had deadlines at my other jobs, and I think not a lot of there's a decent amount of creators who don't take deadlines seriously. I think that I've been able to, like, renew so many things and continue to get things because I am always on time and I'm respectful of other people's timelines. Um, because, like, I hated when I worked my job when people would be late. I'm like, you threw off all my stuff. And so I think just being mindful of that is I've continued to do that with being a creator and even more aware of, like, asking people questions that are working in PR or working on a team, like, what are, like, the biggest, like, hiccups you tend to have and being the complete opposite of that.
That's a really good tip, actually,
Yeah.
understanding the pain points of the
Yeah.
people you work with
Mhm.
and making sure you don't contribute to
Yeah.
that.
I don't wanna make anything difficult ever. I think
Yeah.
also, like, it's very easy to get a reputation of, like, they're bad to work with. But it's like, was it someone else on their team? Like, there's so many, like, nuances of, like, why that could have happened. So just, like, building a good team around me also who's representing me well, because I don't want, like, if my shit was on time, I want it to show up on time to the other person.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just, like, trusting who you have built around you.
Yeah. Can we talk more about your team structure? I know
Yeah.
we mentioned your assistant who is helping you
Mhm.
with the wedding day content.
Yes.
Who else is on your team? What does that look like?
So, my best friend and I, who's also a creator, we share an assistant. So she works on the podcast and on our personal stuff. And then I have a manager and then a coordinator under my manager as well.
Okay, cool. And what's the
Mhm.
difference between what those two people do?
So my manager does all my inbound deals, like all the negotiating, and then the coordinator coordinates, like, timelines for things. There's normally a brief for, like, submitting ads and stuff. Any briefing calls for the content itself and submitting the content and any edits that need to be made.
Okay, great.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you have like support on all of those
Yes.
fronts.
Hmm.
I also want to talk about the podcast side of things because you had posted a video. I think it was maybe a month or two ago now. I don't know. Time. I don't know what
Yeah.
time is not real, but you had posted a video. I think it was actually not long after your wedding because you'd hit the milestone of like 500K on
Yes.
TikTok, 100K on Instagram, and you had also mentioned like, oh, the podcast is
It's
now
profitable.
profitable after a couple of years. And I think people may be surprised to hear that. Can
Yeah.
we talk more about the podcast side of things and why it took a couple of years to become profitable?
Yeah. People were surprised in the comments, like, what do you mean it's just not profitable? I'm like, we were pumping our own money into it for so long. And, like, you have to reach a certain threshold before, like, you're actually making money. And there's so much money that went into it because we didn't just treat it as, like, oh, it's a hobby. It was treated as a business. Like, we had a whole legal team. Like, we have an LLC. Like, we hired our assistant through our podcast. Like, she's a full-time, like, W-2 employee. Like, we put money into, like, studio time. We also have studio equipment that we record with at our apartments. There's so much that goes into it. And also, like, we were doing outreach to brands. Like, we made, like, a little bit of money here and there on, like, those ads we had, but, like, we also had merch for a while. We also did a live show once, like, and all of that was us funneling our own money into it, and, like, we just broke even, like, after, like, 2 years of pain points. Like, that was a lot of work, but it was worth it, and, like, now it's great because, like, it's successful, but, like, I was editing that podcast myself up until a month ago, which is a lot of work every single week,
A lot. Yeah.
and, like, managing our email and, like, doing our ads, like, we just finally got to a place where it's like, this makes a lot of sense. Which I'm so happy we're finally there. But,
Yes.
like, there's a lot of work and time that went into it beforehand. But, I mean, it probably coulda got there faster if, like, we delegated or had more help, but like it wasn't in the budget.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's so real. I had such a similar experience with this show where it probably took me around 2 years to start making money from it, and then by, like, the 3rd year, that was when it started
Yeah.
actually generating where I wasn't just breaking
Yeah.
even. And for a really long time when I first started, because I started off on social media and then I started the podcast and I was still working corporate, so it was like the corporate
All your
money was
buckets.
me living. The money that I made from social media would funnel into the podcast before
Mhm.
the podcast made any money, and it was like a cycle. It was like one thing was feeding another
Yeah.
for multiple years until those things started making enough, and I think people just don't realize that, or they don't realize they think podcasting is, "Oh, you're just sitting and talking," but there's
So
so
much that goes
much,
into it, but also
so
like
much.
marketing the podcast. We weren't just marketing it like on our channels, but also like we are paying for clips to be cut.
Yep.
And like every single penny that was made, like we were making money, yes, but it was all going back into it to eventually get us to somewhere where we're making like actual money, not just like, oh, we're good today. We're okay this week,
Yep,
you know?
exactly.
And like but we did that because like we were successful in other areas. It made sense to expand somewhere else. Cause like it's so important to have like multiple streams of revenue. Like you don't know when something's gonna get banned or go away.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's been important to focus on.
Yeah. And I think it's important for people to hear those stories because they'll see successful creators doing something, not realizing how much time goes into it
Yeah.
and might get discouraged if it takes time for them too. And I think probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned, not only as a creator, but just in life, is like everything takes longer than we think it should.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And when you know that, you're not as discouraged when it takes time.
100%, but also think it's you have to enjoy what you're doing.
Hmm.
Like, I think people are so quick to come on to the internet and like make content because they want to make money. I'm like, I like hot take, but I think you're not gonna be successful if you're only in it because you want to have the influencer lifestyle. Like, I think you have to genuinely enjoy what you're creating and building a community and like doing all these things, or it's first of all, it shows up super differently. Like you're either coming off authentic or you're not. And also you you're not making any money at the beginning. Like
No.
you're getting made fun of. Everyone's shitting on you for
Yeah,
like enjoying your life. Like you have to actually enjoy it yourself, or else like, you're not going to get anywhere with it. Like in my opinion.
for sure.
Um, so like I'm so happy I enjoyed making content for free for so long, or else I would never be making content for money.
For sure. Oh, yeah. It's like you have to enjoy it and you also have to have a certain amount of, I don't know if self-motivated is the right word, but either your enjoyment of it or something has to keep you
Yeah.
doing it and keep showing up,
Yep.
even if you're not necessarily being compensated or getting the response that you're hoping to get.
Yeah. And people are so quick to be like, why is no one following me? It's like, why should
Yeah.
they?
Hmm.
Also, like, it takes, like, I've been doing this for 5 years now, and I just now have gotten like a little bit of like validation towards the amount of work that I've been doing.
Hmm.
Like, it takes a while.
It does.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that so heavy. I mean, I think when I went full time with this podcast, it was like 4 years in, which even to do something for several years,
Yeah.
it's like, are you willing to stick it out
And
for
most
that
people
long?
aren't. But, like,
Yeah.
what if it's tomorrow?
Hmm.
Like, you just like don't know. That's why you have to like be enjoying it and like, this is worth it to me. Like, even if it doesn't work out for another 5 years, this is still going to be worth it that I put all this work and time and effort into it.
Exactly. Exactly. You also had mentioned authenticity,
Mhm.
which is a perfect segue because that's something that I wanted to talk to you about. Because I do think that being authentic is something that you do really well. In terms of what you share and how you share, it feels like if I were to just FaceTime you, it would be like the exact same thing
Yeah.
as what I would see if I'm opening up a TikTok video. And I also think that people use the word authentic perhaps a little bit too
Yeah.
much. And authenticity is something that I don't think you can manufacture
Yeah.
in the ways that we can sometimes try to because we know it's a good thing, but like knowing how to do it can be really tricky.
Yeah.
So I'd just love to hear your thoughts on authenticity and how you remain so authentic.
I think it's also just hard to be authentic with having boundaries.
Yeah.
And like finding out what those are because it's not just like being authentic isn't just like oversharing. It's like you're showing up like as who you actually are with like who you would show up with anyone else. Like I may not give you every detail of a story like when I'm online, but I'm still sharing the same story that I would share offline with someone else. And I'm going to tell you the same story the same way. Cause like that's like, because to me, I do have a parasocial relationship with my followers and I enjoy having that. Like that's fun for me. Like it's joyful that I have like relatability and like you may relate to what I'm going through currently or what I went through previously and like it gives you hope that like you can be in a better place mentally later on. Like that's fun for me. And at no point though do I want someone to be like, "Oh, she seems fake." Like that's like my least favorite thing ever. And I think it's easy to be authentic when you're having a fun time. It's like it's hard to be authentic when you're not enjoying what you're posting.
Yeah. And do you think having expectations around a certain outcome when you're sharing also hurt authenticity?
Yes, I think like I'm focused on numbers when it comes to like ads and things like that, but my day-to-day posts, I'm not focused on numbers. Like, if I like it, I'm going to post it, which is where it comes back in with like I enjoy posting like organically. Because if I was focused on performance, I'd be like I'd start questioning like, "Oh, like is this performing bad because you don't like me or because like I said something weird and then I'm getting in my head about it, which I can't do. It gives me too much anxiety. So I just have to be like, I like this video and I'm going to post it. And if it performs well, great. If it doesn't, like, I also don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the beauty of that authenticity is you also have a community that really roots for you
Yeah.
and is so genuinely supportive.
Hmm.
Like you had recently posted the McDonald's ad,
Yes. And
and
everyone was
everyone
so
in the comments
excited.
is like, "This is so aligned." Like they were so hyped to see you have
Yes.
that because it's something you talked about for years on your
Forever.
own.
Yes, exactly. I think it's also why it's important to like have partnerships that do align with you authentically, but also it can get frustrating too. Cause I posted partnerships in the past where people are like, you don't even use this. I'm like, I do though. You just didn't see it in my 25-minute YouTube video from 3 weeks ago because you don't watch me there.
Yeah, or you don't see
Exactly.
everything.
It's like
Yeah.
I post videos like at one point I was posting 15 times a day. I'm like, you haven't seen everything. But it's when you're very consistent with certain things, it's so cool to see your community show up and be like, oh my gosh, like finally, like they finally noticed you. Like that was very fun for me.
Yeah, and that's ideal when it's like you have the community that's in it with you,
Yeah.
because there also can be those moments where people are like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
don't like ads," or "I don't like this."
Hmm.
But when the community is genuinely rallying around something because it is authentic, that's when it's such a
Yeah,
win.
it's amazing. Which is also where I'm like, I love that you're parasocial, that you know all these details. It's
Yeah,
like you're waiting for this to happen.
exactly. Yeah, or when everyone was tagging you for your opinion on the snack wrap.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, I have talked about this so many times. It's just the consistency. But I'm
Exactly.
also like, I could have stopped posting McDonald's because they didn't want to work with me like for the past 5 years. But I'm like, I kept posting it because I'm like, eventually maybe they'll appreciate me. But also, if they don't, like, no big deal. Like, I still like eating it.
You authentically like it, so
Hmm.
it's like no harm, no foul.
Yes.
Yeah. So as you kind of move into this next season, I'm curious what you're looking forward to. Like still a newlywed, you have your house that you're remodeling,
Hmm.
in a lot of transition. What are you looking forward to?
Being home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Like, I really am enjoying this time period of being so crazy and hectic and very busy and like very, very on the go because I don't intend to have it forever. Like, one, it's not sustainable. And two, like, I look forward to the time period, like, when I slow down eventually, but I don't ever want to look back and be like, oh, I wish I would have done more before I slowed down. I do want to like have kids and like not se I don't like the phrase "settle down" because I'm like, that just, like feels like you're stopping everything else surrounding it, but I'm like, I do wanna, like, have it be a little bit slower at one point so I can be present in everything, but I don't wanna be like, "Oh, like, I have resentment that I built up because I decided to slow down too fast." So I enjoy being exhausted at the moment because it's not a forever thing, and I wanna look back like, "Oh, I'm so glad I enjoyed and explored all those different things before I was like, 'Let me take a little bit of a break.'"
Yeah. So leaning fully into the
Yes,
season.
exactly.
Yeah.
But, like, right now, I love being exhausted. Like, I say yes to everything, but it's not a forever thing.
Yeah, I know. We were kind of talking about this a little bit before we started recording. I'm like, I need to figure out what is your caffeine routine? Like, what kind of coffee or energy drinks do you like? Because how do you have the energy for all of these things?
I think I just function on less sleep as more time goes on, like,
Yeah.
genuinely, because I feel like I used to I needed 8 hours. Like, I was not a pleasant human being if I didn't have 8 hours, and now I'm like, I can nap and call it a day, and, like, I'm fine. Just because I'm excited about what I'm doing. Like, I think that genuinely keeps me, like, awake. I drink coffee here and there, but I'm, like, not heavily, like, every day, like, reliant on coffee or, like, honestly, like, really I drink a lot of Diet Coke, actually. That is a lot of caffeine.
Okay.
But, I have, like, I guess a lot of those a day. But that's my
That's the
version.
caffeine of
Yeah,
choice.
mhm. But also just, like, the joy of, like, this is so fun right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yeah, I can have a 2-hour nap in between 2 things and be fine because like, these are both fun things.
Yeah. Genuinely being energized by what you're
Mhm.
doing.
I think also, like, I used to sit at a desk and work, like, 60 to 80 hours a week. Like, this is w like, being exhausted because 'cause I'm flying back from a different country, like, that's fun.
Yeah. That
Mhm.
perspective
Yeah,
is really
and
good.
I get to share, like, what I wanna share, and people like can enjoy that and relate to that. Like that's fun to me. Like, and I love like when I get DMs from someone who like has been following me for like 5 years and like saw me like when I was super depressed and like suicidal and like not doing well and like couldn't imagine a day when like life would get better. It's like me now, like where like life is so much better. Although I do hate when like people are like, oh, like it only got better because like you got married, like you found a man. Like that has nothing to do with it. Like
Right.
I was so much better. Like did I did that enhance my life? Yes, but that didn't complete it and like make it all happy and whole.
For
Like
sure.
and I was like wanted someone who would enhance my life and like not complete it. Like I was like I did all that work on myself to like get to a good spot. And like that's why it ended up working out with him when it did because I'd gotten to such a good spot and it
It's
wouldn't have otherwise.
So my hair has been through it this summer. I had knotless braids in for months, and while they were cute and low maintenance, they also left my hair needing some serious TLC. So now I'm focused on making sure my hair is strong and healthy for silk press season, and for me that means taking Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the number one dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. And yeah, I was skeptical at first. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. Now, I did too until I started taking Nutrafol last year and learned that Nutrafol isn't like everything else out there. It's physician formulated, clinically tested, and dermatologists recommend it. You can also feel good about what you're putting in your body because Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF Contents Certified, the gold standard in third-party certification for supplements. And the best part is it's easy to stay consistent. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is so simple. You can order online, no prescription required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20% and you'll have access to free one-on-one naturopathic doctor consults to support you on your hair growth journey, and a Headspace meditation membership is included. See stronger, thicker, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code BALANCEDLESS. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BALANCEDLESS. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code BALANCEDLESS.
It's so interesting that people would say that they could attribute your happiness now
Yeah.
to that relationship without also factoring in all of the ways that your life has changed
Yeah.
over the last several years, where it's like being in a different environment, doing work that you really enjoy, having an element of financial freedom that's
Yeah.
different than what you like.
Huge.
Those are all
Yeah.
things that I
I
would
also
think have
have
a big impact on
yeah.
happiness.
I also have fantastic friendships too. Like I've
Yeah.
removed a lot of things like that probably weren't good for me. And like I've added a lot of things that have been fantastic for me. And like that was like the cherry on top was like meeting him. I'm like, I was in a great spot before if you like really paid attention. But I mean, I also get it. Like if you haven't seen me in 5 years and like you saw I was like single and like trying to date and like whatever before you can make that assumption, I guess. I mean, it's incorrect, but I can see how you would get from point A to point B.
Yeah. And I think a big takeaway there, at least for me, is I think sometimes we can want to pinpoint happiness or being in a better season on one thing as if there's one thing that's going to fix it, like
Yes.
one job that's going to fix it, one relationship. But the reality is, as people, we have all of these different factors in our lives that are happening all at once. And oftentimes when our lives improve, it's because several things are improving.
Yes.
Because if we put all the pressure on one thing, one relationship, one job to carry all of our happiness, that's not beneficial,
No.
and it's not gonna work.
No, I think it's also too like why when I got laid off previously, like I was so devastated 'cause all my happiness was in work. Like there was nothing else to bring me joy. It was just that. So when that went away, I was like, oh, I'm screwed. But like I think that also made me like correct like having multiple things like bring me happiness and joy and like being comfortable with like not having my identity in just one thing. Because then if it goes away, it's like, oh, now what?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
learning lessons.
Like, no, for real. That's an important lesson though, and a
Yeah.
really good one. And then when you have other things that are fulfilling, it's like, okay, maybe if work is a little rough right now, but I have really great friendships,
Hmm.
cool. Or like
That's
kind
another
of
thing too, is like female friendships. Like I don't like I've learned to appreciate like those so much more than I used to. Um, I think before I was like I wasn't like when I first started dating like a lot like in my earlier 20s, I was like, I just like want to find like my person, you know? And I'm like, I found my person so much through friendships. And like that's been so great. And I'm like, if I I looked at it at one point. I was like, if I met my person tomorrow, like I'd be done being selfish, and like not in the way where like you're going out and doing whatever. Selfish in the way where like you're making decisions solely on you and what you want. Like I used to pick up and go to London for 2 weeks and swap apartments with some random person because I wanted to that
Mhm.
week. And like you don't get to do that when you have a partner, not because like it's controlling, but because you care
You
about
have to
someone else's
factor in
feeling and
someone
how it
else.
affects them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, if you're single, I'm like, that could be if you met your person, like at the coffee shop tomorrow, it's done. It's over. I'm like, are you really done with that portion of your life yet? Like, I'm so glad I had all the living and experiences and selfishness that I had prior because it made me appreciate like that time period.
For
But
sure.
you don't know when it's gonna happen.
Right. Yeah. It's also a lot of pressure to put on another person to be your sole source of
Yes.
happiness.
You can't do it.
No.
Like you just it's so important to have all those areas. Like and I'm so happy I found that balance between all of them. Because for a while I was like, I don't know what parts I need and all that kind of thing. But with time I'm like, wow, this is so great to be fulfilled in like multiple different areas of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
love
like know how to fix it when it's not fulfilling.
that.
Because like I know like, oh, this part's a little bit off and this part over here is a little bit too high or whatever it is.
Mhm. Mhm. I would love to talk a little bit more about the friendships piece because I do think friendships are something that can change a little bit as we get older. And so I'd love to hear just about how your friendships have evolved over the past couple of years, along with like all of the other areas of your life that have evolved.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple like core friendships I have from like being in like middle school, high school, like that I can't imagine ever ending. And I think those friendships will continue to be forever friendships because not only did we grow up in similar environments, but we also have always had this same like morals and values, and like that's how we stayed friends. I've also had friends I met earlier on that wasn't the case, which is why we've are no longer friends. And I think it's hard also to give yourself grace with letting your friendship go when someone's been around for so long, and you're like, nothing's really that off, but I don't feel the need to keep going with it. But it's like people grow as they should grow. Like that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And like sometimes you grow apart from someone. Like nothing bad has to happen, but you're just like not meant to be there forever. Like I had friends I'm like that. I'm so glad at that part of my life with you, and like that served its purpose. But it wasn't meant to be anything more than that. Like that's okay. And I have other friendships that I've like gotten like through adulthood. I'm like, wow, like I needed this friendship, and, like, even though we've only been friends for a few years, I'm like, we are s when you meet someone, like, when you're in, like 25, 26, 27, 28, I'm like, "Oh, like, I know who I am as a person and so do you, and because of that, we can have such a healthy, confident, like, non-catty friendship because we both are secure in ourselves." I think it's very hard in, like, early 20s. I was like, everyone's figuring themselves out. You don't know who you are, and you're like, "Why am I jealous?" or "Why am I this?" or "Why am I that?" Like, why is there, like, this resentment? And when you meet someone older, I feel like you don't have that because like you've done the work on yourself,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like made my friendships that I've made at this age so much better, and even strengthened the friendships that I've had from the very beginning,
Mhm.
which I like have so much appreciation for.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much truth to that. And I think the older you get, the more intentional you have to be
Mhm.
about friendships.
Yeah.
So it's like if you have a friendship that is strong, whether it's from when you were younger that you've maintained older, or you make friends older and you maintain that friendship, as adults, it's like there's so many things going on. Everybody has to be so much more intentional about it,
Yeah.
and it can make those friendships so much stronger.
Yeah, because you get so busy as an adult, and like when you really care about someone, like you make the time, you figure it out. You don't have time to do that with 20 people like you did when you were younger.
Yeah.
So like,
And when you're young, oftentimes friendships are about proximity. It's
yes.
like who's in your
Mhm.
class, who's on your sports
Who do
team.
your parents want you to be friends with?
Right.
All that, all
And you
that.
can still have great friendships from that, but you didn't necessarily choose that.
Yeah,
It's
they were
like
picked
you're
for you.
around it. And then when you're an adult, you get to choose it.
Yes.
And that can be like really beautiful.
Yeah, and choosing who you get to spend your time with and who you pour into, and you understand also who's pouring into you. I feel like when you're like younger, you don't necessarily understand like how you're giving, 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 and you're not necessarily getting anything back, or vice versa. And understanding that as an adult is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And how has it been working with your friend? Because I know you work a
Yeah,
lot with your friend Hallie.
yeah,
How has that been?
it's been great, and I think it's because we both have the same like morals and understanding for things. We both also very communicate very well. I think communication is huge, and I've gotten to be such a better communicator as I get older, and like through therapy and figuring out like things that I do want to communicate and how to communicate them, and that things can be received like in a poor way, and it doesn't mean it's going to be the end of the world. So figuring that out has been super helpful. But both of us are just on the same page, because when we're not on the same page, we communicate it and we correct it and we figure out like, oh, why did that go so poorly? And like, how can we correct it for the future? Because we both just have a lot of care for the friendship as well, to where we'd rather have confrontation than have it be the end or cause further issues.
It's so important.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes if you do have some sort of like conflict, even if it's not anything severe,
Yeah.
but just having conflict and things that you're able to talk through and communicate and get on the other side, I think often makes friendships so much
Oh,
stronger.
100%. But also, you just have to care to like want to fix it.
Hmm.
I think for this friendships in the past, I'm like, oh, I'm glad something happened because now that's over, you know? And with her and like our friendship, like, I know nothing could ever like really end our friendship because people have so much care and understanding to want to figure it out.
Hmm.
And like the level of comfortability, like, makes conversation like not a big deal because you know that it's going to come out on the other side and be okay.
Right. Yeah. And it's like when you have a core friendship where you know that other person's heart, even if there is something that
You know the
happens,
intention.
right. You know, it's not malicious.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, there's a
That's huge
misunderstanding
for a friendship.
here. Let's get on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think in the past, I'm like, I didn't know your intent, and so I didn't really care to find anything else out. I'm like, for her, I'm like, I know something's off here. Like, I know there's a miscommunication. I know that was not how it was supposed to go down. Like, let's figure this out.
Mhm.
With all my friends at this point in this age, I'm like, I always know like that was out of character. Like, this isn't. There's something else going on here, and like we'll figure it out. But like, this isn't right.
Hmm. Yeah. That ability to give people grace.
Yeah, which is huge, and I would want the same grace from my friends, which I think is why I'm so like that seems off.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if you're having one of those moments, let's say you're having a time where maybe you're feeling a little bit off.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just like super tired. Something's going on. I don't know. Anything. As people, as women, we have
Yeah.
those moments. What helps you come back to center and feel like yourself again?
Yeah, I think just like self-awareness. Also like having friends who are willing to call me out on my shit. Like
Mm.
I appreciate that. I'm never gonna take, and also being willing to appreciate that they said something sooner rather than later. Like everyone in my life is willing to call me out, which is fantastic. But also, I think I will also call myself out very quickly. Like all if I do something like I'll be like, like maybe take me 10 minutes, but I'll be like, that wasn't about you. That was about something else. Like apologizing and like moving forward from it and like making the correction, so it's not like a pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the accountability from a
Yes,
loving place.
huge. Yes.
Yeah.
Which I love. I have so much appreciation for people who are willing to be honest and care enough to like figure it out.
Yeah. Because it's like when people who love us hold us accountable, I feel like that's where true accountability can happen, where
Yes.
it's like, okay, I was having a moment.
Yeah. Well, and something that you love and you care about and you
Yeah.
respect is saying something. You take it in a completely different way than someone who's just like, you're like, who are you and why are you saying this?
Exactly. And it's also, I think, very different than when people try to be like accountability police on the internet,
Yes.
because it's like,
It's so
okay,
frustrating to watch.
yeah,
I'm like, you don't want to hold someone accountable. You just want to like complain.
yes,
Like you don't want to see them change, like make any correction. You just like want to join the bandwagon. That's why I have a hard time with cancel culture. I'm like, do you actually care about like the actual root cause and the root issue, and like want to see someone like actually like make an actionable change, or do you just want to be like, yep, they suck?
yeah. You want someone to be mad at. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people do.
I think it also goes back to control, though. It's like there's so much. It's so hard to feel like a sense of control, like with the world and everything that's happening, and like the world. It's just like gets to be a lot. So I think anywhere someone can find a sense of like, oh, yep, me too. Like I, no to you. It's like comforting, which
Hmm.
kind of is an issue, but it's a big thing. It's very common right now.
It is. It is a little exhausting, but I also think it's for certain things, because sometimes it's like, okay,
Yeah.
a cancellation needs to happen in some instances.
Yes.
And then in other times it's like, okay, I see this for what it is. We take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also just the internet. It's just things get so out of hand so quickly.
Hmm.
And it's so much misinformation too, which makes it like so difficult like to find like the source and like where something came from and like what actually is happening. It gets to be a lot.
It does. It does. Yeah. Well, Jazz, thank you so much for being
It
here.
happened so quickly.
We did. I
So
know.
easy to talk.
I know, but I loved this conversation.
Same.
And thank you for sharing so much with us. I feel like so much of what you shared is truly the definition of creating your own luck.
Well, I'm lucky.
Yeah. And you've also done a lot that has
Yeah.
contributed to that luck. So much of
Yes.
what you were saying about therapy and the healing and like the self-reflection
Yeah,
creates luck.
it really does.
Yeah.
The work is worth it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Can you please let the girls know where they can find you if they are not following you already?
Yes, everywhere at Just Jazzy IDK 3Zs and podcast is Delusional Diaries.
Perfect. We'll make sure we have all of that linked in the
Thanks for having
description.
me.
Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.